What's good, YouTube? We got a deck profile for you. It's Evilswarms, so it's a really good deck, actually. I did well at locals, the day after the release of the set. So, we're running Double Rabbit, of course, just for a quick XYZ with your normal monsters. Evilswarms run Heliotrope. It's a beater, and it's a normal for Rabbit, so it's really good. So those are your Rabbit targets for a quick XYZ, first turn Ophion, all that good stuff. Of course, you run Triple Caster. He really combos pretty easily. You just need him and another, Evilswarm monster, and it'll allow you to on pawn summon, be able to extra normal summon an Evilswarm for a quick XYZ. So he's very useful. One of your main monsters. Also, we got Triple Thunderbird. He's really good. He's a beater. He dodges. He helps with grind out games. You can go into beatdown with him, and then it's hard for them to really answer this because you could constantly dodge when they try to kill it. So, and it comes back at 1950 on the next end phase. Next standby phase. So it gets over Thunder King and stuff, so it's really good. Makes the deck really better. Or a lot better than it would be without it. Mandragora, I would run 3 because of the low monster count, but it's not a good standalone card, and it's not very much of a beater. It's really small, but it's still good for some quick summons, some quick XYZs, so 2 is nice. I don't like 3, really. Rerun, Double Veiler. This deck actually goes good with Veiler. You want the defense for your Ophion. Stop key plays. So it's actually really good. I usually don't advocate Veiler this format in most decks, but in this deck it works because we don't main macro, and usually people don't side macro for us, so it's all good. Although you could main macro, but I choose not to for the utility of the Veiler. Also, we got our 3 Infestations. It's pretty much a staple at 3, especially if you're not even running the dinos. So it's really good. It actually, you search a lot, and on top of that, it's just good defense, so you don't have to blind MST anything. Continuing with the spells, we have our Double Dress. This is kind of a mediocre card in many decks because Lance is usually superior, but the thing is with this deck, you have basically 3 better Lances, so it's really good to protect your Ophion from effects, because that's one of the outs that people have to Ophion. So if they're trying to get an out and you stop it from being destroyed by card effects, it's really good. It's actually never been bad for me. Typically, it's really good. For the extra protection, we have another Lance. Now, I ran this over Triple Dress for the reason that you make them lose more attack if you're using it in the damage step to get over stuff. So that's nice, and it works for Dimensional Prison and stuff like that. So it's actually really good. You don't want to have too many dresses, but this is kind of like your 4th Pandemic. We run the Rhoda because low monster count. Search the Caster. We have 3 targets for that. Next up, we have Double Space Typhoon. You never ever blind the MST because that would be a really bad play. So it's nice to know that you don't really have to fear back row with all the protection, and then you just save this when you need it, and then you side the 3rd. Most decks will need 3, but this deck really doesn't need 3, and I've even tested 3. So I should know. The Trinity, the big 3, you know what they are. They're pretty good, so why not run them? We got Double Torrential. Some people run Compulse over this. Compulse is a pretty bad card. This is a great card. They say the people who don't run this talk about field presence, that we need it. But then again, most of the time you have protection, so you protect your Ophion, and then you minus your opponents, you punish bad players. It's too good. These are staple. Can't really say much about this. They're just really good cards. Double bottomless. I love the double Mirror Force because people walk into it. Not only that, but it's just like, if they can't get over your Ophion from effects, card effects, then again, they're going to try to get over it by battle with an XYZ summon. And this is really nice to protect your Ophion. So that's good. So, double dimensional prison. It's actually even better than Mirror Force, more or less. It's a 1-for-1, but then again, it punishes people who are trying to get greedy with their Zen mains. It protects against Maze Stroke, which is an out to Ophion. It's if they're gonna be running, let's say Dragoonides, and they summon Stardust to stop your Mirror Force, this would be good against that as well. So people who play Stardust, it's nice. It's a grind out card. Also, we got our our XYZ Reborn, and we run a Starlight for the back row. You do set a lot, and it's good to set a lot if you have the protection. Also, this is just like, it's hilarious because I main deck a Virus, so it's like I could Virus, minus them, see their hand, and get my Ophion back. On top of all that, it's really good in this deck because you XYZ a lot. So it's a great card. More than one might get cloggy, so we don't want that. Staple, double solemn. They're just too good, in my opinion. I main deck an Eradicator for Prophecy, for Dark Worlds, if you run into that. And it does shut down Dark Worlds, and pretty much shuts down Laval Synchro, Quasar Lavals. They just came out with their new card, so some people do run it, and it's nice to have that. It's easy side out, and either way, everyone's going to run spells and traps, and it's nice to see their hand. And it's usually live, so that's the main deck. It's 40 cards. It's pretty good. For our side, we have double Virus because it shuts down decks. Depending on the deck you're playing, of course. That's why you side them. Double Devastation Virus is actually pretty devastating to wind up, stuff of that nature. It's a very good card. We run, in our side, triple Macro. You can main Macro, but I prefer not to. It's a really great side. I side it for Fire Fists, so they don't get their popping effect. And of course, Dark Worlds, Mermail shuts them down. So, pretty good. Doesn't really hurt you. Because we don't have Cercion yet, or whatever his name is. We have difficulty with Fire Fist. So this is a nice board in for Fire Fist. Duff's is just really good. Pop their tanky when they try to activate it. The third space, nice to have. The third, Vec Veiler, just in case. It's actually a really good card. We got our double Nomad. This is actually just testing. It works well. I mean, if they try to sign in outs to Ophion, such as Snowman, Raikou, other set cards, it's nice. If I ever run into GKs, that's nice, or Geargia. So this is just, I'm testing this. I mean, they're subject to change, I would say. Some people might not want to run it. These are very nice against Fire Fist. They do search a lot, and they have a low monster count. So, very, very nice. Even Prophecy, it would be nice against them. So, many decks need their searches. Windups is one of them. Windups may be a problem for you, which is one of the few problems this deck may have. But then again, with proper side, you can overcome them quite easily. The one Gores token, we don't run Gores, but if I did, this would be a very nice token for the deck, in my opinion. Plus, I don't know, people might think I run Gores if I have this on top of my extra. And I was actually considering running Gores. I was playtesting it. It's rarely dead, so Gores is pretty good. I'm not sure if I would run it though. Some people say I run too many traps, so that conflicts. one Ouroboros, and one Shockmaster. Shockmaster for the shock lock, Ouroboros for the utility, and just because, you can use it as an out, as a beater. You never know when you're going to need it, basically. We run triple Ophion. Some people question this. I say, why not? I mean, you don't really need the room that much. And on top of that, it's just like, I can see myself going into this a third time, depending on the matchup. Doublebajo, it's a really good card, good for the mirror match. I would probably cut this for Black Ship if I could find one. They're hard to find nowadays. Nobody wants to trade it. We got one Tatto. Most people underrate this card. It's pretty decent in the Fire Fist matchup. It's nice to have if you need it. You never know. One Diamond Dyer. It's a utility card. It's rare to go into them, but it happens. So you want to have it if you need it. He's there if you need it. One Cowboy. It's actually one of the best rank 4s right now. You can burn for game, as well as run over a beater, so it's too good not to run. And like I said, I still need a Black Ship if I could find one. We got one Maestroke, one of the best rank 4s. It's out to Ophion for the mirror match, and it's a stall card, so it's really, really good. We also got the one Dweller, just in case. It's a utility card. You never know when you're gonna need it against, mermaids or something. I mean, typically you go into Ophion first, but if you can, maybe make this. It depends on the situation and the matchup. I run a Nightmare. It's very underrated. Actually, some people don't run it, but it's nice to have if you run into that wind-up player. It's nice to have if you run into that Laval Synchro player. You have them face up, plus, like, say you have him and an Ophion with a material. They can play Rekindling, right, for the Lavals, and then they can't really synchro to a big monster, so they're going to want an XYZ. Typically they go for maybe a Maestroke, maybe a Cowboy to get over the Ophion. On top of that, they have all the ones to go into a stall card, Galaxy Queen. So this can stop them in their tracks. It can flip all the monsters they summon face down simultaneously, or you could wait for the XYZ and flip that face down, depending on the situation. So very nice for that matchup. Very nice for certain situations. Lastly, we got our Gem Knight Pearl. Good in the mirror match. It's hilarious if you summon this in the mirror and all they have face down is Fiendish, because people do run Fiendish, in their main deck macro, and they can't really touch it. So, nice to have. Lastly, for the Starlight Road, we have a Stardust. If you get this off, it's really, really hurts them. But then again, if you do have Ophion face down, you won't be able to summon this. However, you will be able to play your Starlight Road, so that's good. You negated your card. It did its job. But, if you don't have the Ophion at the time, it's a really good card. So, guys, that's it. That's the deck profile. And again, this deck has a couple bad matchups. Most of the matchups are really good. It's good against Mono Mermaid, obvious. But most people run Undyne now, and it's still pretty good against that. You have a lot of defense against it, such as Dress and side deck cards. So, yeah, most matchups are pretty good. And the deck, in my opinion, at the moment is still really good without that last monster that we need, which would make this deck a little more consistent. The deck's still pretty consistent, and there's many good aspects of it. So just comment, rate, subscribe. Don't like the Dino version for the dead draws. I don't like to run Dark Armed and all these techs. Just, simple back row, simple protection, main Evilswarms you need. And yeah, thanks. If we get feedback, we may start to re-innovate the channel, just as a side note. And thank you.